Hello everyone, we're going to talk about divisibility rules today. So let's go ahead and get started. We're only going to do 2, 3, 5, 6, and 10. This will be about 90% of the numbers you will see anyway. There are rules for like 4 and 8, but I think even 9 as well. But they're a little too much. I think that can be for later on, like maybe 6th grade or middle school. But for now, I just want to go over 2, 3, 5, 6, and 10. And once again, this will be most of the numbers you see anyway. So let's get started. The rule for 2, any number that ends in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0 is divisible by 2. For example, if I gave you guys the number 340, that could be divisible by 2. Okay? If I gave you the number 242, that's also divisible by 2 because both of these end in either a 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay? So if I did another number, let's just do one more example. Let's say I did 158. Well, that's also divisible by 2 because it ends in an 8. So any number that ends in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0 is divisible by 2. Pretty simple enough. So let's go ahead and move on to number 3. And number 3 states when you add the digits, if the sum is divisible by 3, the number is divisible by 3. Let me tell you what that means. Let's say I have the number 123. Well, what you have to do is add the digits. So 1 plus 2 plus 3. And that equals 6. Well, I know 6 is divisible by 3, so that means 123 is divisible by 3. Which means if I put 123 divided by 3, it would be a whole number. Okay? And the reason why divisibility rules are important, just as a side note, is because sometimes we don't know how to break a number into smaller pieces, or we might not understand, hey, can I use a number to simplify this number, especially when we start doing fractions, okay? And divisibility rules are going to help you, like, oh wait, what are my rules for 2? What are my rules for 3? And I'll let you know, oh yeah, I could take a 2, or I could take a 3, or a 6, or a 5, or 10 out of this number. So I'm going to give you one more example for number 3. Okay, let's say I have 333. Once again, you got to add the digits. 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. And since 9 is divisible by 3, 333 is divisible by 3. So you just have to add the digits up and then look at the sum and say, okay, is that sum divisible by 3? So you still have to know your multiplication facts for 3. You still need to know those. But you can make these bigger numbers. You can add the digits of these big numbers and see what the sum is, which will typically be a smaller number, and say, oh, okay, is this a number that is divisible by 3 or not? Okay. Let me give you one more example. Let's give you a bigger number. Let's say we have, I'll put this in green again, and let me erase this example. Okay, let's say we have 1,203. Okay, well, we just add the digits. 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 3 equals 6. So, is this number divisible by 3? Absolutely it is. Okay, this is divisible by 3. Alright, let's do numbers that are divisible by 5. This one's pretty simple. Let me see if I can scroll down for a second. Okay, there we go. We'll do these last 3. Alright, so to be divisible by 5, it's quite simple. It has to end in a 0 or 5. The number has to end in a 0 or 5. So if I have 155, that is divisible by 5 because it ends in a 5. If I have 300, that's divisible by 5 because it ends in a 0. If I have 4,275, is that divisible by 5? Absolutely, because it ends in a 5. Has to end in a 5 or a 0. Okay? Rule number 6, if the number is divisible by 2 and 3, it is divisible by 6. So you really just have to know rules 2 and 3, and then you know rule 6. Okay? So let me give you another example. Hang on. Let me do 500. 540. Well, it ends in a 0, so it's divisible by 2. And when I add up all the digits, it turns into 9, so it's also divisible by 3, which means 540 is divisible by 6. Okay? Let me give you another example. Let's say I have 342. Okay? Ends in a 2, so it's divisible by 2. When I add them all up, 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 2 is 9. I know that, okay, this is divisible by 3, so 342 is divisible by 6. So all Rule 6 is hey, check rules 2 and 3. If it checks out yes for both of them, then yeah, you can divide it by 6. And the divisibility rule for 10 is, in my opinion, the easiest one. All it is if it ends in a 0, if it ends in a 0, it's divisible by 10. So whether it's 100, 550, 3,240, those are all divisible by 10 because they all end in a 0. Alright, that's it for divisibility rules. I think the most difficult one that you might have to rewind and check on is divisibility rule number 3. Just because it seems a little bit complex. All of these other ones, you just kind of have to look at the last digit. This one, you have to add the digits up. Okay? But that's really all it is. You just look at a number like let me see, 440. Okay? Say, okay, if I add this up, is it divisible by 3? This one, 4 plus 4 plus 0 is 8. Nope, that's not divisible by 3. So 440 isn't divisible by 3. So you just have to add the digits up. It's really not that difficult, but it might take some time to kind of understand and practice. So if you have questions about these, or like rule number 3, let me know. But divisibility rules are going to be very helpful for you in simplifying numbers and finding out what you can take out of a number to make it smaller, and just dividing numbers. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.